UFC Saudi Arabia just wrapped Izzy versus Imavov. The Izzy era is officially over. Now, I know that I'm not the biggest Izzy fan. I have actively tried to tear him down multiple times. Just thought he was a big boy and he can take it, but I actually kind of feel bad. I do. I thought he looked pretty damn good in that first round, and he just got caught in round two, but it's kind of a lot of adjustment making that he just didn't really do. But regardless, we're going to talk about the recap and breakdown. I feel like fucking dog shit. I'm telling you right now, I've had a fever all day. It's been a tough one, but I'm going to get through this for you guys. Just going to give you my reaction to everything that happened on the card. I went 7-4 in picks overall. I'm really fucking bad at picks, guys. I'm sorry. I'm awful at picks so far this year. It brings my overall record to 21-17, so I'll keep trying, but I don't know what to tell you, man. I hope you guys aren't betting what I'm predicting because I'm not getting a lot of these right. Like, granted, 7-4 is not terrible, but when you couple that with the fact, usually at this point I would have had a card where I absolutely cleaned house, but hasn't been one of those this year. It's been a pretty consistent 50% or a little bit over. So I don't know. I'll try and do better, but we got helped out by a robbery early. This was a robbery. Now, I know I got a lot of shit for saying the Paul Hughes and Usman Nurmagomedov fight was a robbery, and it's more because that was the caption I made just to make sure I got attention, and I got some views on it for Instagram, which worked. But you had all the Dagestani nut glazers in there, absolutely trying to tear me down as a person, which is, I mean, like, you can go for it, bro. Like, I'm not upset that you fucking ride Usman Nurmagomedov's dick. But anyway, Hamdi Abdelawab did absolutely rob Jamal Pogues. He just looked like the classic case of like ring rust and just could not get going. Granted, Jamal Pogues is a bitch for making this a sparring match. Round one goes, Hamdi Abdelawab lands like a right hand early, and then pretty much nothing else happens. Like, Pogue is just kind of like feinting at him, landing a jab here and there. Hamdi is like level changing, like feinting, not really doing anything with it. I do think Hamdi gets the first round, though. I think it was a 29-28 Pogues because he got the takedown in the first round and he landed some ground and pound with that. It did end up getting back to the feet, but he did get about a minute of control time and landed some ground and pound there. So I did give Hamdi round one. But round two was just Jamal Pogues, like, outsparring Hamdi Abdelawab. Hamdi would just stand there and absolutely not throw a thing. And Jamal Pogues would be able to land the jab, then land the double jab right hand, then land a counter right hand. Hamdi would start winging, miss. He got a robbery victory. Felder asked him, hey, did you think you did enough to win this fight? And he goes, honestly, no. So, like, respect there, but I expect Hamdi to get right the next time he's in the octagon. Jamal Pogues got utterly robbed. And it's like Jamal Pogues almost knew it was going to happen if it wasn't him getting a finish, because he while he looked shocked in there, he didn't look shocked that he got robbed. It looks like he's like, yeah, of course that was going to fucking happen. I didn't get a finish. So Pogues won that fight pretty clearly to me, but they gave it to Hamdi Abdelawab. I expect Abdelawab to look a little bit better in the next fight. I think it was just a case of ring rust. But Jamal Pogues, like, he outboxes a lot of these heavyweights. He's a little bit lighter on the feet. Not the worst technique, man. Honestly, not the worst technique. I think he beats a couple of other people in this division as long as they don't go to the Middle East and he doesn't fight, one of the people with the same belief system as them, because then he'll never get his win. But go ahead, go get angry in the comments. You know it's fucking true. It literally happened already on this card. And it's happened at least once or twice on every single one. Just saying. Not saying it doesn't happen in the USA too. Let's keep that consistent. I understand that happens in the US and England and stuff like that, but to absolutely deny that it happens in the Middle East, you're just fucking coping. Speaking of coping, Lucas Alexander almost had the knockout twice in the first round. Landed a really good right hand, but that's not what I'm talking about. He threw a flying knee that just missed Bogdangrad's chin, and if it landed, he was going out fucking cold. But he didn't. He did out-grapple Bogdangrad in the first round, and he also almost landed a front kick that knocked out Bogdangrad, but he didn't end up landing those. Lucas Alexander did win the first round. He looked fast, he looked technical, but this wasn't one of those cases where, like, the weight cut was going to help him just being a little extra heavy in there, because round two, Lucas Alexander looked exactly, like, absolutely exhausted, like his body couldn't take it anymore. Bogdangrad got his takedown in that second round and really just dominated position there the whole time, was able to land a lot of really good ground and pound, had some great position and good top pressure. So Bogdangrad got the win by TKO in round two, pretty much beat up Lucas Alexander all round two. Moving on. Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Mayra Bueno Silva. Like I told you guys, Mayra Bueno Silva stinks. Like, she has some pop, she has some power because she's that, like, the lesbian Brazil girl, like, the Brazilian women. We talk about this a lot. She's got pop, she's got power, but, like, she loses focus in there all the time. She's asking about, oh, my hair got grabbed. Oh, like, and then when she was in, like, on her back, she was complaining to the ref about something like like Jasmine Jasudavicius threw a shoulder into her face, and she argued. I don't know if she was looking for a headbutt call or something, but she was just not focused once the fight wasn't going her way. Yes, she landed some big, powerful shots, but Jasmine Jasudavicius outlanded her. It looked cleaner, and then she was able to dominate her in the grappling, which was impressive because Mayra Bueno Silva has some good submissions, but when she can't get what she wants right away, if it's not like an arm choke or not like a head and arm choke or guillotine or something like that, she's not really doing much with it. So Jasmine Jasudavicius ends up dominating in top position pretty much most of the fight, outstruck in most rounds, and then would get the takedown to seal it. She wins 30-27, very clear win. Jasmine Jasudavicius is kind of on a roll here. She is. But we're going to move on. Yeah, Mayra Bueno Silva sucks. Terrence McKinney, just like we said, I think I picked maybe sub, but I did pick first round finish. He got it. He ended up getting the back control like I thought. Would kind of threaten by flattening the back and get a submission, but the ground and pound was just there to be had. So he landed a ton of ground and pound. Granted, I think the fight was getting left a little too long. I think Demir was getting hit a lot and just was not showing any ability to defend himself or get back to the feet. So I would have liked to seen it stop earlier, but he ends up getting the stoppage. If that didn't get stopped there, Terrence McKinney would have gassed out and probably got knocked out at the end of the first round or in the start of the second round. He threw a ton of strikes, and I was sitting there going, dude, if this fight doesn't get stopped, McKinney's going to have another McKinney moment. But he outstruck Damir Hadzovic on the feet, and then he was able to dominate him when it got on the ground and just beat his head in. So good round one finish from Terrence McKinney. He did not get a performance bonus. It's interesting. I think Dana gave it to Bogdan Grad and Nasruddin Amava, which was good, but then he gave fight of the night to Vinicius Oliveira and Saeed, which I guess kind of was fight of the night, but there weren't many great fights, so it is what it is. That's why I said the card was kind of mid, but good first round finish from Terrence McKinney, gets back in the win column. Moving on, Shamil Gaziev. I thought he was going to decision Thomas Peterson, and I saw Thomas Peterson in boxing range a little bit, kind of dipping, throwing to the body, and then coming up top. I go, ooh, all right, Thomas Peterson, like not too shabby. But Shamil was able to kind of just blob forward at him with his hands down and consistently land like that right hand. He was just finding it from that like low angle. Found it time and time again. I don't think Thomas Peterson's bad, man. I think his head movement isn't the worst. I also think that he moves on his feet pretty decently well. He can kind of like mix shots up a little bit, and his grappling's pretty damn good. Like he managed to get Gaziev to the ground for a minute, like a couple seconds, because Gaziev did get back up. But once Gaziev got back up, it was like, all right, let me just keep firing these right hands. He ends up throwing one right down the middle, catches Thomas Peterson and knocks him out. Good performance from Shamil Gaziev. I don't hate on Thomas Peterson, bro. I actually think he can beat some of these lower level people in the division here, but not Shamil Gaziev, man. Shamil Gaziev's going on his title run, baby. Let's go. So see who I match Shamil Gaziev up with. I don't want to give him the Jones fight right away because I think Jones needs to build himself up in the division a little bit more before taking on an absolute marauder like Shamil Gaziev. But we'll get there. Moving on, Muhammad Naimov just dominated Khan Offley pretty much the whole fight, was able to outstrike him. Had moments where he was hurting him on the feet pretty bad, and Khan Offley would lose his footing. And then he was able to thwart the takedown attempts of Khan Offley. Like, Muhammad Naimov was able to get a couple takedowns of his own, yeah, and there were moments where Offley was able to reverse it a little bit, but all of Offley's control came against cage position, so he was able to kind of press Naimov up against the cage, and that's where he really had a lot of his control. He wasn't able to let 5 out of 30 to the head. He was struggling to strike here. Naimov kind of just outclassed him, and he can be like, Tajikistan loves this guy. Like he's a pretty damn good fighter. I don't know if he's ready for a ranked opponent yet, but he's a good fighter, so it's good for him to get a win. I thought he won the fight 30-27, just straight across the board, dominated Khan Offley. I did want to see Naimov get a finish. Did think he was going to be able to, but Offley did grit it out. So moving on, good win from Naimov, but we're going to move on to the main card, which I thought was pretty underwhelming, but this fight was all right. I did not have Mike Davis pulling guard on my bingo card. Listen, I didn't think Mike Davis performed bad. He just, again, looked like it was kind of ring rusty and didn't really know what to do in there at moments. Ferezian won that fight. I kind of think Mike Davis won the first round, if I'm being honest. I thought that takedown at the end secured it. I did think Ziam was doing better, but it is what it is. I get it. 30-27 Ziam is not bad. But But Ziam ended up winning. He was out striking Mike Davis. He was out scrambling Mike Davis. And not necessarily, because Mike Davis had moments where he was like threatening with submissions like the calf slicer, and then he would go to a hybrid calf slicer and arm triangle, which was crazy. Like the transitions were cool. They were really good in this fight. And Perez Ziam looks so much better on the ground than he has in the past. He's becoming a big problem, but Ziam at the end of round 2 lands a big elbow that splits Mike Davis open. And when Mike Davis is taking the ground and pound, he looked like a jiu-jitsu guy almost, where he was just taking the beating and didn't really have any urge to get back to the feet. I expected a little bit more from Mike Davis. I thought his scrambles were good. I thought he had moments, but honestly, less impressive than I expected. Maybe that was just Perez Ziam being that much better. Like, he's a serious problem right now. He's on a win streak. I want to say 4 in a row now. Let's take a look. Because it was the nasty KO over Matt Frivola. But I'm like, okay, it's Matt Frivola. 5 win streak in a row. Beat Figlock, kind of a boring decision. Beat Herbert, kind of a boring decision. Beat Poyes, very boring decision. But then he KOs Rivola, and then he goes to a decision with Mike Davis when Mike Davis had moments where he was, he hurt him with the right hand once in the round 3, but the killer instinct wasn't there for Mike Davis. He didn't really have those moments where he was trying to go get the win, where Perez Ziam the whole time was trying to win the fight, whether it be in the grappling exchanges, whether it be in the striking. He was doing damage, and he won. So great performance from Perez Ziam. Guy needs a ranked opponent. The guy does need a ranked opponent. See who I match him up with. There are people in lightweight that need to fucking defend their ranking spot. I'm talking to you, Jalen Turner. I'm talking to you, Michael Chandler. Okay? But we're going to move on. Said Nurmagomedov, Vinicius Oliveira. I'm very happy that the judges scored this fight the right way. Thought Said won round 1. He almost knocked out Vinicius Oliveira with a spinning back kick early. But Vinicius Oliveira did a great job of defending the guillotine and getting his wits back about him. He had a plan. And it was to let Said put a pace on him or make sure that these guys were throwing back and forth for all of the first round and let the Nurmagomedov gas out. And we are seeing this time and time again now where these Dagestanis, when there's a pace put on them, they wilt. They will break. Khabib is the only guy that has that really crazy, crazy cardio out of that gym. And Said, before you say Said's not really in that gym, I know he's not normally in that gym, but he did train at Abdul Manap's camp for this fight camp. So again, just another moment of one of these Dagestani guys gassing out. And Said looks really good with the kicks. They're fast. He's able to get them up in places where you shouldn't be able to get them up. I know we talked about that with Marcin Prachnio last year when he almost head kick knocked out fucking Modestas Bukauskas. But Vinicius Oliveira stayed in there after round 1 and was kind of able to bully around Said Nurmagomedov in round 2 and 3. And Said had his moments in rounds 2 and 3, but Vinicius was a little too overwhelming for him, was landing really, really good shots, mixing in the grappling, and he out-grappled Said Nurmagomedov, had some takedown attempts, almost got a Darce choke in round 3. But it was a good performance from Vinicius Oliveira. He got the win, good underdog win. Moving on. Now, this fight was a shitter. But Sergey's not going to be in bangers every single time. But he had moments where he was hurting Jairzinho. Every round he would hit Jairzinho with the right hand and hurt him, and then be able to blast through, get a takedown, and then half guard camp for a half a round. That's literally the story of this fight, is these guys just snake charming each other, just standing there. Sergey would land a right hand, Rosenstrike would be sitting there, snake charmed, and then just get blast doubled right into one of them was actually a knockdown, but it wasn't really. Sergey punched the chest of Jairzinho Rosenstrike and it knocked him over. But yeah, this fight was Sergey landing a right hand, then getting a takedown, and half guard camping for the whole fight. So Sergey gets back in the win column, which is big for him. Jairzinho takes an L. We know that that's a big hole in his game, is the grappling, but I didn't think Sergey was going to expose that. I thought he was going to be able to find the chin, which he hit him hard a couple of times. He just didn't get the finish, but good win from Sergey. Dana was not happy with this fight, by the way. And that's another thing. These guys suck that interview him, bro. They all these fucking Middle Eastern guys in there are just it's the same fucking question from all of them. It's like, dude, when are you going to come back to Arab countries more? Dude, they're going there 4 times a year. You want more events there, that's fine, but there's got to be places that he can go. He's working on Qatar. He can't just go into some random country that's in the middle of a war and be like, yeah, we're going to do fights here because it's totally safe. No, it's not. You have 4 fight cards a year. Dude, England gets 1. France gets 1. The U.S. has the fucking... We can't even go see fight nights in front of crowds in the U.S. And then it's not the problem that they're asking for that. Like, I get it. Like, everyone wants them to go to their country, which I think is a fucking annoying question to ask all the time. Same thing with the Spanish guys. They ask this every fucking press conference. It's like, when it happens, it'll happen. But it's the fact that everyone asks it, and they each ask the same question 50 times to Dana. You also had guys asking, how was Ronaldo's reaction to the Shara Magomedov fight? The fuck does he know, dude? Was Ronaldo upset? Where does Ronaldo rank for you in the top athletes of all time? What are these questions of the post-press conference? But fuck that. They're terrible. Moving on. Shara Magomedov, MVP. I told you this is how it's going to go. MVP schooled him. I thought that MVP was going to be able to get a step-in right-hand finish, but he didn't. He just kind of snake-charmed Shara the whole time. Shara was not able really to land to the head much at all. I was nervous that Shara was going to get a robbery victory, but he clearly lost so bad that MVP got the win. MVP dominated, man. He did. And it wasn't like the prettiest and anything like that, but he really did just take Shara Magomedov to school and show him that Shara's not really on the level that everyone has said he was in. So, good performance from MVP. Each round just literally took Shara to school. Each round was the same story. Step in right hands, getting out of the way of leg kicks, all that good stuff. We're going to move on to the main event. Sorry, this video is going a little bit fast, guys. I'm really not feeling good. Speaking of someone not feeling good, Israel Adesanya is probably not feeling too good. Now, this is pretty sad, because now Izzy's on like a legit 3-fight losing streak. Lost 4 out of his last 5. It's kind of tough for him. He looked great in the first round. The takedown defense was there. He looked much stronger in the legs, too. Like, his legs looked a lot stronger. They were under him. Like, Imavov was not really going to be getting those takedowns. And Izzy was able to land some shots. Like, his low kicks were landing really, really good. He was actually doing a much better job with his jab, but where Imavov was finding range is he was landing, like, straight punches, and Izzy would try and hit that counter, and that's where Imavov would find another. And that's how he got the knockout in round 2. Because you saw, like, Imavov land a great uppercut in round 1 that really hurt Izzy. But Izzy actually, like, you could see him get visibly frustrated and go, dude, no, I'm not getting fucking knocked out. Bit down on the mouthpiece and started trading with Imavov, and it looked good, like, for Izzy. But Izzy has never really changed his style. Like, there's so much tape out there on him that everyone now knows how to beat him. Sean showed that you can get in the boxing range to really beat him, and Imavov's a good boxer. Then you have Drika's constantly mixing in takedowns to get Israel's hands to come down a little bit lower, and that's one of those things that Imavov's, like, while he's not the greatest grappler, he's able to shoot takedowns. The blueprint's out there for how to beat Izzy, and he never really worked on the holes in his game, and that's kind of what we saw here, where Strickland was able to land that right hand that knocked Izzy down. Imavov just did the same fucking thing, but he actually knocked out Izzy because he doesn't have pillow hands like Strickland. Great knockout from Imavov. And it's like one of those things where we're like, oh, Hamzat gets an automatic title shot, because who the fuck does that to Whitaker? But honestly, like, who fucking sparks Izzy like that, too? So it's one of those things where it's like, dude, like, Imavov's actually got the same fucking argument that Hamzat does for a title shot. And he's going to be more available for the fights. So we'll see what the UFC does. It's going to be very, very interesting. Check out the matchmaking video I'm going to bring out tomorrow. Izzy, man, sucks. You know what the best part about this is, though? Kenny Okoye is going to fucking cry and complain and blame the fucking eye poke. Like, because Izzy did have that moment where, like, it almost seemed like he was trying to, like, pull a Pereira and go, no. I know he got me with the eye poke, but you know what? I'm good. Let's go back in this. And it bit him in the ass. He got caught with the right hand and knocked him out. So, great performance from Imavov. Great knockout from Imavov. And tough spot for Izzy. We'll see what's next for him. But if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Sorry it was such a short video, but like I said, I'm feeling like ass. Hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow.